Ahead of the Broncos game against the Patriots, we are chatting with the man who will be in the booth for CBS, one of the best play-by-play men in the business, and an even greater guy, our friend Kevin Harlan. Kevin, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us.
Great to see you and be on with you. Although we're distant, we're together, right? But it still feels good. So thanks for asking.
Not like our usual chats. It's been a little bit of time too. How have you been, and what's it like being you during this pandemic?
I'm glad the NFL season is here. As most Denver fans know, I covered a lot of Nuggets games down in the bubble for TNT, and that they were about as good a story. They're as good a story to me as Miami. What they did was just historic and wonderful for the Denver sports scene. And such a big fan of Mike Malone, and they got a wonderful team. They've got nowhere to go but the highest of highs in this NBA. So that's going to be fun to watch them. And the NFL has gotten along just pretty much for us as broadcasters, like normal. We've got a lot of different protocols, like the players we've got to follow. We're wearing masks, although I'm in the Soldier Field press box right now in Chicago, and I've got it off. But to get in and go through all the different layers of protocol, the regulations, wearing your mask and answering questions and filling out forms. But really, aside from that, it's fine. And you and I were just talking a second ago that the worst thing is just not having the fans. I don't think I've ever appreciated them more. And I know I speak for the players too. They just add, they're that last element of what makes going to a big event so wonderful, so memorable. And without them, there is an empty feeling. I was in Green Bay at Lambeau on Monday doing the Monday night game with the Falcons, and a normal crowd there fills the surrounding areas outside the stadium, bars and restaurants and hotels, parking lots with tents and bands and smoke from grills, and the parking lot is just full of people that are dressed in Packer gear and hats and shirts and everything else. And there was nothing. It was like, it's so, and I grew up in Green Bay and I've been going to Packer games since I was a little guy and never seen that before. So it's, that part is weird. And I cannot wait till the fans get back, because they are every bit as big a part of this game is almost the game itself, I think, really, in a lot of ways.
Well, I know the fans watching on television love the energy you bring to the booth, but is it hard without fans there to sort of ride that energy?
Not really. You're so focused on doing your job that you really kind of block everything out. For instance, when we do a game and I go back and watch in a normal, time when there are fans in the stands and a lot of noise, I'm always stunned when I go back and watch my tape, how much like noise is going, like the cannons and horns and music and like all this stuff. And I'm just shocked every time I go back and listen and watch. And but you get so laser focused into doing your job that you really kind of block all that out. But now, and we were so used to, like, on a big play and a touchdown, a catch by Fant, you go into the end zone and then let the crowd, like an orchestra, kind of fill in the call and let it speak for itself with the celebration in the end zone. And now you kind of find yourself maybe extending your call a little bit to make up for what clearly is an absence in the broadcast. So I know they're piping in noise, and it's a lot more normal, I think, for the people watching at home than it is for us broadcasters, which is great, and that's the way it should be. But it is a little bit different because you use them as an orchestra, as a symphony, and back you. And all great singers are even better when they've got that wonderful crescendo of a crowd on a big play. And so we do miss it as broadcasters, absolutely.
It does feel pretty normal at home watching. This year, though, for you, after working with Rich Gannon for so long, you're now with Trent Green. Seems like you're just making your way through AFC West quarterbacks, huh?
Yeah, we are. And then I worked with Kurt Warner on Monday nights, who was a teammate of Trent's in the NFL. In fact, he replaced Trent, who was going to be the starter for the Rams in that Super Bowl season in '99. And they're very good buddies. And Trent and Rich were quarterbacks with the Chiefs. They didn't overlap, but they are both former Kansas City quarterbacks. And of course, both have played many games against the Broncos. So I just love working with Rich. I cannot even put into words how much he means to me as a friend and as a partner. And this business sometimes has those types of moves which take you from a very vibrant friendship to another chapter. And I've known Trent for years, and we both live in Kansas City. We're very good friends. Our sons went to the same high school, so we've got so much in common. We've been to dinner with he and his wife Julie, my wife Ann and I have. So we're great buddies, and I'm sure he and I will enjoy this. We already are. But I'd be remiss in saying I don't miss Rich, because I really do. He's a great friend and a terrific broadcaster.
That chemistry is so important, obviously, on air as well. Kevin, you're such a busy guy joining us today from Soldier Field. Can you talk about your prep process here? I mean, how do you get ready, say, for the Broncos game after doing tonight's game against, with the Bucks and Bears?
Well, it was supposed to be an even busier week because we were assigned for CBS the Pittsburgh Steeler Tennessee Titan game last Sunday. So I would have flown Friday from my home to Nashville, done the game, flown after the game to Green Bay to do the Monday game, driven down here to Chicago to do the Thursday night game with the Buccaneers, fly to Boston tomorrow to do Patriots and the Broncos on Sunday, and then fly Monday morning to New Orleans to do the Chargers and the Saints. And I'd be gone about 10 days, and I just hate being away from my family and my wife. So we really got kissed on this one because they canceled the Steelers and Titans. My wife and I flew up early to Green Bay. We have a summer home on Lake Michigan. So we went right there on Sunday afternoon, drove down to Lambeau, did the game, drove back on up an hour and a half back north of Green Bay. We're there Tuesday, Wednesday, and this morning, Thursday, drove down here to Chicago to do the game tonight. So in what was looking like a week where I wasn't going to see her for most of it, we've been together the whole time. So it's been terrific. But the preparation is the same. Worked on the Green Bay game, and beginning Tuesday, started working on this game with a little bit of an eye toward the Broncos and Patriots. Tomorrow, it's full Denver, New England, right up until kickoff. And then Sunday night, we'll start the remainder of my preparation for the Saints and Chargers and get ready as I fly down from Boston to New Orleans on Monday morning, finishing touches on my boards and watch a little bit more tape and get ready to go. You can't work too far ahead because there's a lot of players. I don't use a spotter. I spot myself. So knowing all these guys and being up on it, I try to put as much of it on my own shoulders because that's the way I think it should be done. And so it's a lot, but it's I wouldn't want to. I'm living a dream. I'm doing what I want to do since I was about 9 years old. So I love every second of it. Wouldn't trade it for anything.
Well, you can hear it in your voice when a big play happens that it's real. I know that you haven't done too much prep on this Broncos and Patriots game just yet, but what excites you about this matchup?
Well, I did them on the Monday night game against Tennessee. So I've already seen them once, which has been great. I watched their last game, the Thursday game. I watched that. So I'm sick about the quarterback. I love that kid. He's a Kansas City kid. So I followed him at Missouri. I got to enjoy him last year as a rookie. In fact, Rich and I called a lot of those games. The big win in Houston, terrific performance. They played against Detroit and Denver. So I'm a big fan of his. I don't know. We're sitting here Thursday. I know he's kind of slowly getting back into it, but love the Fant kid, the tight end. Melvin Gordon, I think, was a nice pickup. I think when he gets used to what that line gives him, he'll even be better. Love Chubb, miss Vaughn. Kind of it's weird not seeing Chris Harris in the secondary. he's now playing elsewhere and injured actually and out. So, but I guess I just kind of feel like I thought Denver was an ascending team, and the quarterback was a big reason why, and the young hearts they've got for that offense. I'm bullish on the Broncos. I think they're in a difficult division. Chiefs are so good, like as we know, and I think the Raiders are they're improving. You can see it, but I'm bullish on the Broncos. I like them, and I like the direction they're going, and I like how they're incorporating these young players into their offense in particular. I think they have found the quarterback. I think that's generally the feeling in Denver. We got a short sample size, but I don't think he's going to disappoint. I'm high on that kid.
Yep. A lot of optimism for sure in Denver. Expectations were sky high heading into the season. Kevin, just a couple more for you here. This game, some uncertainty, with the pandemic and coronavirus and everything. You, of course, were in the NBA bubble. How do you compare how both sports have handled this?
I think it's been nothing short of miraculous, to be quite honest. We know how fragile it is because of what's going on with the Tennessee Titans. For teams to have 55 on the roster, a 10-man practice squad, 15 to 18 assistant coaches, and then the support staff, you're basically talking, about 100 people that are in that inner bubble times 32, right? So now think of that. And every day they're being tested, and every day there's a little bit of the honor system there, and you are sacrificing a lot in your personal life for the good of the team. Don't let go of the rope. Everybody hold on to the rope and pull at the same time, and that's what we're seeing. I'm stunned by how the league is traveling with the big number it is, and so far, basically so good. We're just beginning it. We're just a month in. Fingers crossed, right? The NBA, you knew, was a little bit more sanitized because they were allowing nobody in or out. They had layer after layer of security, so no one was getting in and no one was getting out. So, the players had their lives inside these resorts down in Disney. We as broadcasters could not get near them, so I never got to see any in person or talk to them. We did Zooms with the coaches. But still, to pull it off with not one single positive case is, even with all of those things, it was surely somebody. They brought 16 teams down there, right? Or 22 teams to begin with. There were 22 teams down there, and not one. It's amazing to me what they've done. So and I think the leagues are joining each other in finding out what the other's doing. I think there's a lot of trading of information, and it's proven to be very, very effective. So I commend them. It's a great expense, a lot of personal sacrifice. Lives are not the same, and that's asking a lot for these kids, but it's their livelihood. They're living their dream. They're in the NFL. They're in the NBA. They're in MLB. They're in the NHL. I mean, they know they're like one in a million to be doing what they're doing, and they're not going to blow it. And so I commend them every bit as much as I commend the leagues and the teams for the different things they've done to make this work.
Yeah, it has been amazing. Last one for you here, Kevin. You mentioned the Nuggets off the top. I think anytime somebody watches a Nuggets game, they hear you reference the Broncos sometimes. You drop some Broncos names. That's some good fun there. You just got a bank of names to go to there, Jokic and Elway, or what do you think?
Well, I've got a very vivid imagination. I love the NFL, and I know a little bit about the Broncos history. So I think I've thrown Frank Tripucka and Haven Moses and Floyd Little, and of course Got John Elway's name in there. I guess I just feel like there's a lot of things those basketball players do that like when Jokic throws a court-length pass and there's a great over-the-shoulder catch. It's a Haven Moses catch. It's a throw by Elway or Tripucka or whoever. And Craig Morton, I mean, take your pick, right? Jake Plummer, I mean, you can go right on down the line. So I did the Chiefs for 9 years, so we played the Broncos twice. So I know I know those guys. And, that's when Adam Schefter was there, and the wonderful, late, great Bob Martin, who I just adore, Larry Zimmer. I mean, these are all my friends and idols, people I looked up to. So I've got a great connection with Denver. Our son went to the University of Denver. My wife and I spent a lot of time there. So no, I'm very intertwined with the city. Love the Broncos. Love the Nuggets. My son's a season ticket holder with the Nuggets. So we're big in Denver sports.
It's funny you mentioned Larry Zimmer. He taught my play-by-play class at CU. So
No kidding.
small world, yeah.
Yeah, I knew Larry first when he was doing the color with Bob on the Bronco broadcast, and if I recall, Larry was doing the play-by-play for the Buffs.
Uh-huh.
So, and I was a young broadcaster coming in, and they were so unbelievably nice to me. Bob and Larry both, just like kind, thoughtful, helpful people. I've never forgotten that, and try to pass it on to young broadcasters that I may come in contact with. I just think the world of those two men. Glad they crossed my path because I'm better for them. They're wonderful guys, and so no, we're hey, listen, Kansas City's an 8-hour drive from Denver.
Yeah,
I've driven that many times, so I'm big into Denver sports, and I might have to get some Nugget references in when the Broncos do something.
there you
go. You look like Jokic up there rebounding as he went up and got that great pass out of the air. We'll think of something to say.
We'll look for that. Okay, we'll hold it to you. Kevin, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
My privilege to be on with you. Thank you so much, and can't wait to see each other face to face. But you're sure kind to have me on. Thank you very much.